Discover the power of movement, connection, and community with the Adaptive Sports and Activities Interest Group, facilitated by Anthony Woodson. Join fellow veterans in peer-driven conversations focused on adaptive recreation, integrated support, and whole health rehabilitation, all designed to empower dignity, independence, and self-worth. Meetings take place on the second Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. Eastern. Whether you're looking to get active or stay connected, this is your space to be inspired, supported, and seen.
Go to BVA.org to find out how you can directly make a difference in the lives of the brave men and women who have given their eyesight in defense of our freedom. They fought for your independence, and by going to BVA.org, you can find out how to help these veterans regain theirs. Go to BVA.org today.
Hello, and welcome to Visions of BVA, where we share the experiences and voices of blinded veterans. I'm your host, Steve Baskis. In today's episode, we're going to speak with two incredible veterans. We'll hear about their personal journeys, their perspectives as veterans, and how these types of events create independence, confidence, and community. Celiann, Tina, thank you guys so much for joining us. I had such a wonderful experience at this last event. It was so calm being at this private lake. Celiann, can you answer a question? How long have you been with Team River Runner?
Yeah, so I started as a participant back in 2016. And then in 2017, I went to the women's trip, and there was the blind veteran, and you guys were training for the Grand Canyon, you and Travis and everybody else. And me and Sherry were joking, we'll be the next group going. Next thing I know, Sherry requested me to go to Montana in 2018. And
that's where it originated, right? Immigrant Montana.
So, yeah, I think it's Montana, obviously way before me, I think. Talking to Lonnie and Joe, I think they started that in
It's funny. I was part of one of those early events, and I can't even remember myself.
The original group.
Tina,
yeah.
You've been to the immigrant.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
2018.
Yeah, 2018, I got to go to Montana.
Yep,
that's where Stella and I met. But I've been with Team River Runner since 2012, I believe, when they first came out to Snowmass. And then I came back to Reno and got involved and started working on getting the chapter here in Reno since then.
No, I remember meeting you, I think, for the very first time I think it was Reno. There was a BVA convention. We were at a lake, and you were helping me outfit the boat. I was so new at that point to kayaking.
Oh, I was too. I think it was 2013 when they had the convention. The BVA convention was here, and that's the first time I even heard about the BVA and put on an event up at Lake Tahoe.
It was great. Can you guys introduce yourselves? Yeah, Tina, you're both veterans. So if you don't mind just maybe giving a little bit of background information or whatever you'd like to share. Tina?
Okay. Well, I'm Tina Lemus, and I'm a Marine veteran. Was in back in 92, so pre 9/11. I was an air traffic controller. Not much else really. I never did deploy, so I'm not a combat vet. I was fortunate enough to never have to deploy. And started losing my vision back in 2001. And for me, it's just been a slow, long, drawn out process. I have now about a third of good vision. Everything else is dark. So that's where I'm at as far as vision goes. And getting involved with Team River Runner has really, it boosts my, my confidence. I love these events because of the camaraderie with Team River Runner and being with other veterans, especially like-minded veterans. And then when we're all in the same situation as far as the blindness goes, it makes a difference when we can have these events for just us.
Absolutely. No, thank you, Tina. Celiann?
I'm Celiann Gonzalez, and I'm a Air Force veteran. I was an engineer for the Air Force for active duty 10 years. I did deploy a couple times, but I never really saw combat. I was more of a support person, so I was always on the base, maintaining the base. And then I worked as an engineer, as a GS employee for almost 10 other years. And right around my 17-year with the government service, both active duty and GS, I started TRR in 2016. And, I was going through my own issues, had a very hard transition between the both, and found TRR, and they just gave me where I'm at. And once I got involved with the OuttaSight programs, I found my calling there, or my purpose. I really love working with all of you. You guys give me more vision than you will ever imagine. You guys have turned my life around. Being with you guys is an honor, and I hope I can do more for all of you. Because you guys are special. There's something. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Celia. Cel, I guess, you guys, I appreciate your genuine, honest perspective of TRR, and I too, being a blind veteran, and having the ability to participate, just like Tina and even yourself, Cel, at these events. I know how everybody really enjoys the time on and off the water. And I guess I just wanted to say what the draw to Team River Runner. Were you directly connected to Team River Runner through other participants, or was it Joe, or other? Did someone reach out to you specifically? I guess I'm always interested in that connection. If you recall, like the very first person writing you a message or email or talking with you, or you just you decided to join like one of the chapters or events.
Well, Tina, you want to go first, or you want me to go first? For me, I was going through a very hard transition in life, and I went on a Grand Canyon trip with a friend. And I just fell in love with the water and the nature. And then I came back to Colorado after that trip, and I just started searching about learning to kayak. And I found TRR in Denver. And one of the chapter coordinators is Big Mike Plord. And he was my first instructor. And we became really good friends. And it was TRR chapter was involved with the National Sports Center for the Disabled. So working with other disabilities really caught my attention, especially kids. So that's how it kind of started with, Mike and Josh. I don't know if you guys met Josh, being my first two instructors, and they just had something. And then I just fell in love with it and just started being more involved and learning to kayak, and other veterans. That connection in the water was really good for me. It really helped me get out of a dark spot, and gave me other things to look forward. And I even quit my engineering job and went into the outdoor world and got an outdoor rec degree, and that's what I do now. That's
No, so it's great. I understand. So you went on a trip with friends, and then the connection was you were searching yourself actively.
I was
and you found TRR.
I found TRR, and that right at the moment that I needed them. I was in a very, very deep hole, depression.
These stories, these stories are important. I always want to tell people, the public, how people find things, because I think sometimes we get in a rut. We don't know what to do or think. And so having people's personal experience, about how they connected with something is I think important, and why. And Tina, do you recall exactly the first, contact with TRR, how that occurred, or not so much?
Well, yeah, actually I do. So I was in Snowmass, Colorado for the National Disabled Winter Sports Clinic. And this would have been 2012. And Team River Runner was there and doing pool sessions. This was my third year at that event, but this was the first time Team River Runner was actually there. And we'll throw out Lonnie's name because Lonnie was also at Snowmass, and his room was right outside of the pool, and I was at the other hotel in Snowmass, and he comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, you got to come over here and check this out. They're doing kayaking in the pool." So I did. That day I went over and I watched them get in the pool, and um, I was terrified. I saw them putting people upside down, and I was like, "Yeah, no, not doing any part of that." And had my name on the list, and there was a long list before we were to get in the water. Um, and Dave Roby was there, and that's how I met Roby for the first time. And I remember my name came up, and I looked. I said, "Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna pass," and I didn't get in the pool. Um, it did. Absolutely terrified me. And then the next day, I showed up an hour before anybody else got there, and I just stared at all these kayaks. I watched the water. Nobody was there. It was just me. Um, and I had to kind of, I guess, prepare myself to get in the water. Um, and when Dave Roby showed up and he saw me there, and he goes, "You're the first one in the pool, so that you can't walk away." And I was.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I did get my role that first session. Of course,
That's
now
so cool.
it's definitely not consistent now, and I'm all in my head these days. But yeah, from then on, I started talking to Dave Roby about getting a chapter started here in Reno, and I came back here to where I live, and that's what I did. I started working with another young Marine that was trying to get the chapter going, and between him and I, we got it rolling. No
Mhm.
pun intended. Um, so, um, yeah, it's just, and for me, I think it has changed me. I was still in denial about my blindness. I really was. Um, and it took a long while for me to figure out, and I'm still trying to learn what my needs are and what I was needing from other people, because I didn't know anything, and I wasn't around other blind veterans at the time. I was just kind of doing it all on my own and winging it. And all my volunteers here, I think only two of them were veterans. The rest were all civilians. Um, so they didn't know either. And it really wasn't until I moved to Colorado and going to the Buena Vista trip kind of opened my eyes on what I was needing. And then going to
Mhm.
Chaos um, back in 2015, going to Chaos kind of started to help. But the last I went 3 summers ago, and that's when things started to change for me as far as what my needs were. But I haven't been in the water on the river in about 6 years because I haven't been around guides who know how to work with us who are visually impaired on the river.
We're gonna fix
So,
that.
and that's why this Grand Canyon trip I know is a game changer for our area and for us getting back in the water. So I'm super super excited about it.
It's cool. That's a good segue in the sense of the OuttaSight Clinics that Team River Runner hosts. And, for our listeners, when we speak of rolling, we're talking about a technique that a kayaker, specifically usually a whitewater kayaker, conducts in the water to right themselves if they are upside down because they're in a river kayak. It's kind of like a cockpit you sit in, and you sit down in this kayak, and you can maneuver the kayak with, of course, the paddle, but also your legs and your hips and thigh. There are these braces inside, and that allows us to execute these different types of maneuvers on the river so that we can move our boat wherever we need to go. And when you're upside down, no one wants to be upside down in the water. So you roll yourself back up without having to leave your boat, exit the boat, wet exit. And what was the other thing? A chaos. That's kids out of sight, right? And maybe you can just briefly mention that. That is like a separate thing, but TRR is very deeply involved with it, or is it official a TRR event as well? I'm always unfamiliar with the details.
I believe now it is officially a TRR event, and I think they were trying to start promoting a little bit of community and in with Team River Runner as well. And so Jen Eaton is a mobility I don't know her exact title, but she works with civilians or kids and people who are blind or losing their vision. And so she thought it would be kind of a neat idea to get them in kayaks as well. And so that's how Team River Runner, I don't know the full story about it, but that's how Team River Runner and her teamed up. And so they will bring in Team River Runner guides, and when I went 3 summers ago, I got to go for the instruction part of it, and I think it was 3 or 4 days prior to the families coming, but we actually trained and we worked with the guides, and we would blindfold them on the river and do things blindfolded to help them understand what we go through as being blind paddlers, and teaching them how to instruct on the water and how to verbalize instruction instead of, hey, go over there, or hey, let's go over this way. Because when you don't have sight, you can't see that. So it's a pretty neat training that they go through. And then they bring in the people from the community who have kids with vision loss or are blind. And then we get to be ambassadors for a family, and we get to go kayak with them and do a few things with them for a couple of days. I don't know if that
No, yeah.
does it justice for what that whole program is, but it gets the blind veterans involved with families in the community who has a child or somebody with vision loss, and just showing them there's no boundaries.
Well, it's a wonderful thing. I have been to it now a couple times, and exactly what you explained, really. Celiann, you have not been to it? I don't
have not
believe
been
yet.
to Chaos. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I know it's Jennifer. Jennifer started paddling. There was a Susquehanna Valley chapter that was led by Bill Butler, and I think Jen went to one of their sessions, or they invited her or whatever, and then she loved kayaking, and then she just extended the program because she does work with kids with, she's visually impaired herself. So she does work with kids, and I think between her, Joe, and Dave Roby, I'm sure they created a partnership. I know the VA grant has funded that program to bring the veterans over there to Jen. So it is part of it is TRR. I don't know on the other side if there's funding coming from the other side, but we do fund most of it. So.
Oh, it's great. All these kinds of things build such tight communities, and as we know, of course, and I'm hoping that just this show, this episode, will be just one more thing that's out there, creating awareness about Team River Runner and about the blind veteran community that loves to come together and do things, and maybe we should speak a little bit about this Grand Junction event. Now, Grand Junction had a very
active chapter, yes.
Active chapter at one point. And actually, I moved to the western side of Colorado, to Montrose, because of that. A lot of, reason. The reason was because of really the Team River Runner event, where we came and opened. We had this inaugural event here at the Whitewater Park in Colorado, Montrose, Colorado. And I was part of, again, a small group of all kinds of veterans, sighted, volunteers, blind, low vision. And we had such a tremendous experience. And I just fell in love with the area because of all the different veterans and the different activities and you can, it's a strategic foothold here on the western side of Colorado. You can get to Moab and Arches and Canyonlands, all these different parks. There's Black Canyon right here, 15 minutes from my house, and Uray, where you can ice climb. So there's just so many cool things to do, whether it's with events or with your family or friends, if you ever visit this part of Colorado. But Celiann, you're trying to reinvigorate and get people involved here on the western slope to come and work with people like Tina and I who have blindness or low vision. And so maybe what did you have to do to get this event going, and what should people know maybe
so
to make it happen or
took
to be
over,
more involved?
I've been involved in different levels of TRR, but one of my main levels has been Rocky Mountain Regional Coordinator. The Grand Junction chapter, when I first started at TRR, it was very strong. I had a lot of good friends there. And Ryan Keys, who still works at the VA up there, had a program going. And for some reason, the leadership in that chapter kind of died. And different things happened, and the program was dying. And the last, and it just disappeared. And then Amber, who you all met, was brought up to me as wanting to start it again. So I just latched onto it. I met her, and she's been having problems trying to get people going. And then in May, I came out, and me and Amber and Bailey, who unfortunately couldn't come in the past event, an outstanding kayaker. We just got him certified. We did an outreach event, got some names of veterans, and then I applied. Funny enough, I was just looking for small grants. We didn't have money on the VA grant to do something, but I applied for the ACA through the ACA website. They have an LLB program, and they give $2,000. I'm like, I can make something happen with $2,000 if I get it, and I got it. So I put a little proposal, and I said, I will have 3 visually impaired, because I knew of the 3 of you in Montrose. I'm like, I didn't realize I had so many visually impaired in Montrose. I knew you, and I know Tina was back and forth between Montrose and California, and then I met Daniel. Yeah,
Reno,
and then Danny Wallace, I met him at Steamboat Crested Butte, skiing, because you guys got a skiing program, and I go and meet you guys once in a while. And I'm like, and then there's a 4th one that is supposed to be moving to Montrose. So I'm like, I need to do something about this. And I talked to Emmer, I talked to Bailey, and then I got the $2,000. I'm like, I can make some. And we have a private lake in Grand Junction that we can use all the time. I'm like, we are wasting our time not using this. So yeah, that's kind of how and then Amber got all pumped up. And then I met Laura, who was there that weekend. She was in the women's clinic, which I led this year too. And she told me, I'm in Grand Junction. I'm like, and I'm a veteran. I'm like, you're coming too. And she's a great paddler. She was a safety boater on the women's trip. So I'm like, let's get this going. And I think we can invigorate this chapter again. And we're going to have the national conference there next year, which I'm excited about. So really, really trying to grow the community, because you guys are only an hour down the road from them. And Montrose Play Park, I looked at it this summer. I'm like, this is awesome. we need to get our VIs here. We have everything in hand. We have a private lake to start things with. Why not? So, and it's right around Colorado with me. It's so easy for me to travel over there too. So a shorter drive than Montana, although I love Montana. But I can do it more often. I can come down there and meet you guys in Montrose more often. Now that I know all of this, I'm like, and hopefully ASA in Durango can help us out too. We got they do our women's clinic, and they've been trying to grow a little bit more on their visually impaired program too. So hopefully we can get the whole Western side of things going with you guys. And I've been talking to Tina. I have not had the chance to go meet with Welcome Home Montrose. I think that's your veteran program down there.
Right.
So if we can build a second chapter in Montrose, I will. We have gear like crazy on both Grand Junction. Gear is not a problem. It's making sure we have trained guides for you guys. For me, safety is number 1 for you guys.
Are you a BVA ambassador? Stay informed, skilled, and ahead of the curve with the Ambassador Educational Series led by Vernon Humphrey. This exclusive series is designed for certified BVA ambassadors and covers essential training, continuous education, and insights into emerging technologies that impact the blind and visually impaired community. Sessions are held every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, with a focus on new ambassadors the first and third Tuesdays and certified ambassadors the second and fourth. Whether you're just beginning or building on your knowledge, This is your space to grow, connect, and lead with confidence.
It's a wonderful event, and like if I could summarize, it's so personal. I mean, you drive all over the country to sell to do these kinds of events and to help other chapters and to help with different events, maybe specialized things that TRR or Team River Runner is putting on. But you bring a trailer, you bring all kinds of equipment. We stay usually in an Airbnb or a camping situation, and it's just very close quarters and a lot of, sitting around a campfire, talking to each other in a living room, a dining table, about life, about, especially when it's OuttaSight Clinics, you got a lot of blind and low vision veterans sharing their life experiences, how they deal with things day to day. And then every morning we're working to eat and then get out the door and get in the van and get to a lake or a river where we can start practicing or actually just enjoy the outdoors, enjoy a paddle. And specifically here in Grand Junction at this recent event, it was probably skill building and just kind of introducing some sighted people with their sight, eyesight, to people that were blind or low vision, and how they work, how they, some people have just never even really worked with a blind person on the ground. It's like, how are you going to do that in the water? So it's such an amazing thing. Maybe, both of you guys could talk a little bit about this trip, something that you remember, or, whether it was a community thing, chatting, or the event itself. I know sometimes it's very repetitive, the things we do, but it's really fun because it's always different people, that come into the mix. Like from different vantage points. Malik, he was someone new that I'd never met.
We love you.
It's so cool. Tina, do you have something you would like to something you'd like to share about this event that people should know about, or that you remember, or?
Well, I could just, I think for me, because I feel like I'm going in as a complete beginner because I have not been on the water, have not had guides who are comfortable or know how to work with us on the water who are visually impaired. And so for this trip, I have so much anxiety when I do get out on the river with new guides. It's a trust thing and feeling comfortable. So getting into this going on the lake in Grand Junction and just being able to rebuild some skills and getting myself feeling the water underneath the boat and just getting comfortable again, for me, was huge. It was a huge, I guess, the start for me, just to remember how much I loved being on the water. And meeting guides who are seasoned paddlers, that boosted my confidence in my ability, but also in them. So if the next step is for us to start getting down in the Whitewater Park down in Montrose or getting on the river, I feel like we built that rapport up with them in a very calm setting before getting out in the river. And for me, mentally, that was big for me. And just being able to watch how they work with you, Steve, and how they worked with Zach, who has, no sight. It just kind of was helping me build up that trust with the volunteers that would be working with us down the road to get on the river. So for me, huge. It was a huge confidence booster and motivator to get back out on the water.
It makes perfect sense.
And the trust out there, that for me has been what gets in my head and holds me back a lot.
Sure, I feel the same way. I get nervous with new guides, especially on the river, on moving water. And when they're telling me, "Oh, we've never gone down this river, we're just doing," but
of course you're gonna do it.
But I mean, a lot of times there are so many people that are right there for you. But for a blind paddler, it is absolutely building trust and confidence, and it's a relationship with a guide. Usually, even with skiing and stuff, other sports, I want to build a little bit of a relationship with someone before we do something more dangerous or treacherous or pushing the limits. Celiann, do you want to share just something from this? You do so many of these.
Yeah, no, but you guys touched on it. So for me, when I'm actually even bringing a brand new person to guiding a VI, usually I know their skills already, but I look for something on those people. I don't know what it is. I'm like, oh, this guy can build trust with a VI. So I'm very picky about, not so much in Grand Junction because we're doing Lake and we're introducing them. But I agree 100%. Trust has to be there. And I think I told you guys, like, just because you're a great paddler doesn't mean you can be a great guide. I'm not a great paddler, and I'm not saying I'm a great guide, but it's the trust. And I actually, Tina, you mentioned it, I blindfolded myself in the Salmon River because I wanted to experience what you guys experience. But I had trust in my guide, who was Chip, and you'll know Chip. And
Just met him.
you just met
Yep.
Chip? Yeah. So
I just met him in Boise when I was up there in
he
July.
is one of and Steve can tell you that he's one of the best people out there, and like huge heart, amazing guide. And I had no fear because I trusted Chip, and all I did was follow his voice. But I know if you would have put me with somebody I didn't know or I didn't care for, I'm like, hell no, I'm taking this blindfold off. But in this particular event, that I also not only the off-water moments are for me special. When I see you guys sitting there and joking and making inappropriate jokes without, judgment. And I love that. There is no judgment. There is no, you guys are who you are, and you allow the guys to be also who they are. And in the water, the special moment I saw was Andrew working with Zach. Andrew was fascinated with how to guide visually impaired. And when he put the speaker and he was working with Zach and seeing that connection happening and seeing Andrew, and then he loved you, Steve. I'm like, I'm going to take Steve to the play park when water comes up again. I'm like, so you have somebody already eyeing you out to take you in the water, Steve. And, and so that you guys, the changes, you guys, not only you talk about us changing your life, but you change our lives too. So it's just like that military taking care of each other, watching each other's back, protecting each other. That comes back to me, that military teamwork. Doesn't, my strengths might be your weakness, and same thing, your strengths might be, you are a stronger roller than I am. Steve, you can roll every side, the tricks. I can't do that. So for me, it's that connections when I see guides just falling in love and becoming protectors of you guys in the water, but then you let them be who they are. And it happens in Montana every year. It's really amazing for me to watch and be a part of it. We actually had a film guy come for this Montana clinic, and I can't wait for the film to come out because there was a lot of special moments in that clinic too. So for me, it's that the changing of lives, not only us enabling you to do things that you might not be able to do because of your vision, but you guys enabling us to learn, to introducing, and somebody touched on this, people that have never dealt with, including me when I first started, a visually impaired person. It's intimidating. We don't know what kind of, one of my guys this year is like, can we joke about blind stuff? I'm like, shh, they're going to joke themselves, so you can just jump in. So they're like, he was very sensitive about it. I'm like, just let it be. They'll tell you if you cross the line. Don't worry. But yeah, it's changing both ways. It's just that unit, that team. We all have our job in that unit. You could, and that's it. It brings that military teamwork that we all go and miss. Yeah. And that's what Team River Runner is. Is that creating that teamwork and working with each other. And nobody's better than the other. We're just different. We're just different. I don't see anybody better than anybody. I just see us as different, and we just mix and match our weaknesses and strengths and make it happen.
I absolutely agree. Did you want to say something, Tina?
Yeah, I do want to just go real quick. Is I doing these events with us who are the blind and our visual impairments, and having these events that are just for
Mm-hmm.
us versus, like I said, I just went to Boise in July, and I found out I was already up there, and I jumped on with the Team River Runner chapter on their river trip that they had, and I was the only visual impaired person there. They had never. They It was a different
Mm-hmm.
environment because it I don't really quite know how to explain it, but it's still a great
Mm-hmm.
trip. Don't get me wrong, it was great. But coming from where with the vision loss, it changes the way we do things a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. Um, and so having these out of sight clinics that are geared for us, where we're all in the same
Mm-hmm.
boat, and that, like you said, we do things differently. It changes the feel of each of these events that we're able to go to and participate in without the added stress. I think maybe that's what it was. It was the elevation anxiety of being in Boise because I didn't have my fellow veterans who are the
Mm-hmm.
blind, all of us looking out for each other in that way, because we do need a little extra care and a little extra help. Um, and so my anxiety levels were so much higher when I was the only person. So having these out of sight clinics for us, um, I think are super important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I want to say some final things, and then I definitely want to have either one of you or Celiann, share how can people get, in touch with TRR and everything, and share anything you guys want to share right before we close. But I like to remind, if there's a blind veteran or a family member or anybody listening to this particular show, and many of the shows, I kind of remind people about my thought process when I lost my sight and I went completely blind. I was trying to rebuild my life. We are unsure about things. You're anxious. Maybe the anxiety never really goes away, of course, but you definitely become more confident and you know how to manage your anxieties and make better decisions. But these trips do so much from when you leave your home to pack and get ready, to make the calls and communicate with people, to traveling on your own as a blind or low vision person, to getting to a place and meeting new people, being in an unfamiliar location, and then learning along with other people that either they've been with blind and low vision people, like on the ground doing things just in normal activities, or doing stuff on the water with new people, and everybody's learning a little bit about both worlds, the water and paddling, and what it means to be with someone who's blind, and to allow them to live life and do something that maybe some people would think, oh, you can't do this, or that's not possible, or you shouldn't do it. And I think it builds so much trust, confidence, and community. And, we're veterans, so we have our own little niche there, like you guys have mentioned. And that really helps someone rebuild their life.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, they can really have a platform to grow in different ways. Maybe they won't paddle again. Maybe they won't do stuff on the water, but at least they'll make some friends. They'll learn some new techniques and systems. They'll get out of their home, maybe away from the city they grew up in, or they only stay in, and get to do something else that reinvigorates, their life, their passions, and I think that's what I've noticed most after participating in hundreds and hundreds of events from all kinds of organizations, and I'm sure you guys can connect and relate. But I just wanted to say that and give you guys maybe some final time to speak something if you want to. But definitely, I want Celiann, I want you to if you want to provide your own information or if you want to provide TRR's information, just the webpage, whatever, so that people can help or assist or maybe volunteer or be part of the community.
Yeah, I guess the easiest way is obviously to go to our website, teamriverrunner.org. If you can find me on the webpage, I'm under the regional coordinators page, Celiann Gonzalez. So my email, but it's kind of hard to spell, Celiann, CELIANN.Gonzalez with a Z at the end at teamriverrunner.org. Feel free to send me an email to ask about the OuttaSight Clinics. I run most of them, or like I said, my other effort is like with Grand Junction is to train guides around the nation so we can touch more people, touch much more visually impaired veterans across the nation. I have a list of about 75 visually impaired that I stay in touch with. And I check on them, even if they stop paddling, they'll call me or I'll call them. It does build a great community. I love that you guys share resources with each other. I've seen what you said, Steve, that paddling might not be their niche, but like Mike Murphy, he's gone into cycling and running, and then Henry Escobedo is now running marathons, but he came to Montana and that got him out of the house. That's really the goal. But yeah, you all stay in touch with each other at the same time. Most of you have met through TRR, which is, for me, is amazing. So
we stay a team.
Yeah, and then and you can pass this info. I do a monthly meeting on second Tuesday of every month. Steve, you come, I think, to one of them. Trying to catch up with folks. I haven't had much success yet, but everybody that's an adaptive paddler is welcome to join us. And again, I see sharing resources there and just joking around and that community, because we're all over the nation, so it's hard for us. It's hard for you guys to travel. So, but if we can all meet once a month, that for me is great. It helps me too. So,
and that's a Zoom meeting that happens every month.
Every
right?
month, yeah, at the second Tuesday of every month, and I can. But if you send me an email, I can send you an invite. So whoever wants to reach out to me, and I'll send you an email. If you know of a blind veteran, Lonnie usually sends me names. People send me names. I will contact that person and see what we can do for them. So easiest place is teamriverrunner.org. And then, as I mentioned, my email, CELIANN.Gonzalez@teamriverrunner.org.
Thank you so much, Celiann. Tina, you have anything final to say, or?
I just would like to reach out, tell people that if they're, we're run by volunteers, so you don't have to be a blind person or a blind veteran to get involved, and it doesn't matter if you have any other disabilities as well. That's what Team River Runners out there helping all of us. So, if there's anybody out in Montrose who wants to get involved, maybe we can get the Montrose chapter running again and get more people on the water. So
any veteran, whether you have a disability or not, can join TRR, and volunteers always welcome for sure.
And you don't have to be a veteran to volunteer. We run by civilian kayakers as well.
Oh, Joe Mornini.
we need them just as
Joe
much.
Joe Mornini, our executive director, is a civilian, so.
No, it's always great to have new participants, new volunteers. I really appreciate you guys' time today. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, for having us.
Curious about the latest tech and tools for independent living? Join us for the Vet Tech and Educational Series, your weekly destination for new technologies, innovative services, and essential life skills. Led by Vernon Humphrey, these interactive webinars are held every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, featuring expert advice, product spotlights, and hands-on strategies to help you thrive. Don't miss the Vet Tech and Educational Series, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Innovation and independence at your fingertips.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Visions of BVA. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and found it insightful. If you like what you heard, please consider subscribing to our podcast and leaving a rating or review on your favorite platform. Your feedback helps us reach more listeners and improve our show. Don't forget to follow us on social media for updates and behind-the-scenes content. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions for future episodes. Stay connected, stay informed, and we'll see you next time on Visions of BVA. This is Steve Baskis, signing off.
You're listening to a BVA production.